to the Federal Reserve Bank of Dallas's Educator Summer Professional Development. Hi, I'm Morgan Ackley, Economic Education Advisor at the Dallas Fed. For those that have joined RPD in the past, we welcome you back. For those of you that are joining for the very first time, welcome. Teachers truly are the heart of Texas and our economy, and we are so excited to be able to provide you with video sessions this summer. You will hear from our expert economists, our economic education advisors, as well as external speakers in our summer series. Thank you for choosing to join us for your summer PD. We know that you have many choices. Whether you are pre-registered or not, you will have the option to be able to complete a survey at the very end of the video for continuing professional education credit. The summer series will be available for CPE credit from June 22nd through August 15th. Our summer series topics include COVID-19 and the economy, which features our own expert economists. You will also hear from our regional economists with economic updates from Houston, El Paso, San Antonio, and Dallas. Lastly, you'll also hear from our economic education advisors as well as external speakers about classroom resources and strategies that will expand your instructional toolbox for this coming school year. The agenda for this session is on the slide. Remember, once you have finished the video, you will need to complete the survey at the end in order to earn your continuing professional education credit. You can only receive credit once for each course. Today, you will hear from our presenter. At the end of the video, you will also be provided a link to complete the survey. The survey is password protected, so we will include that password at the very end of the video. After you've completed your survey, please allow up to 2 weeks to receive that certificate via email. Although we can't meet in person this year, we are here to provide support for any questions that you might have. Please feel free to reach out to our economic education team with any questions that you might have. Our contact information is available at the end of the video and also on the website. Today you will hear from Melody Nicholson. Nicholson is a teacher in Frisco Independent School District and IWIN International School, where she teaches AP Economics, Advanced Macroeconomics, and On-Level Economics. She is passionate about supporting the growth and wealth mindset of young adults. Over her career, she has served as a curriculum writer, department chair, and instructional coach for both Frisco and McKinney Independent School Districts. Nicholson also serves as an AP reader grading the macroeconomics test for the last 4 years. Prior to teaching, she worked as a conventional and direct endorsement underwriter. Nicholson received her bachelor's in business administration and marketing from Texas Tech University. Today, Melody will deliver a deep dive presentation into Wiser.me worksheets, a free online resource that made the transition to virtual teaching seamless for both her and her students.
Hi, I am Melody Nicholson, and I teach AP Economics and On-Level Economics at Frisco High School in Frisco, Texas. And I'm here today to share with you some challenges and resources that I found in our new normal that was virtual learning 2020 due to COVID-19. So I'm going to just share with you some of the things that I found, some of the concerns I had as we started, and some of the things that I found to help my kids be consistent, efficient, and help us communicate and continue to grow in our learning as we went through quarantine for 12 plus weeks. So we challenged ourselves, and the challenges were really big at first, and something that I wasn't quite sure how we were going to make this successful, but we were able to. So I think my challenges were probably very similar to yours. And my husband is also a teacher in education. He teaches at the same campus, and he has math, majority juniors and seniors, and he teaches the at-risk and the struggling students. And so virtual learning was something that was a huge concern for the struggling learners, the on-level learners, the SPED, the ELL. Just how were they going to be able to plug in and learn and grow? We didn't want to just be placeholders in time, and that was a big concern for us. So the first thing we noticed is the communication part, and just drinking from a fire hose and how overwhelming it was. We have an elementary student of our own in our house, so we were starting to get the emails, and we were getting emails from 2 teachers. I quickly realized our high school students are getting emails from 6 to 8 teachers. And if you have siblings, then those parents could be getting emails from 20 to 25 teachers. And so a huge challenge is, how do you make it efficient, communicate clearly so that it's not overwhelming for the student or for the parent? The more consistent, the easier, the more participation you're going to have. I also was very concerned about keeping the kids organized as well as myself. There are lots of opportunities when you go into digital learning of different platforms that you could use. And at first I was like, well, this looks cool, and taking a piece of everything. And then I realized, well, now I've got to go track this and this and this. And they didn't do this last week, so they're back here on this activity that's in a different format. And so I really just wanted to come together on one platform that we could be consistent and speak in the same language. I wanted them to be engaged. There's no better time to teach economics than when the economy is falling apart. And so I wanted them to be engaged and consistently seeing the relevancy of the course and participate for growth. And so how was I going to do that? And how was I going to keep the rigor? As seniors, they're either going on to a job or they're going on to college, but either one of those paths is going to expect that you've learned something about economics. College is going to expect that you grew during the quarantine time and learned. And real life is going to expect that maybe you have some knowledge about economics that's going to make you and help you make better decisions in the future. And I wanted to keep that rigor piece there. I didn't want to just float through quarantine time, just trying to manage and not really push a growth mindset. And I wanted to be able to offer feedback and track progress so that I could keep those relationships and encouragement and motivation going. So those were the challenges, and I'm sure you experienced those as well. And what I started to do was research and found pretty quick within the second week of virtual learning, I need to be consistent. For the kids and for myself, I need to be consistent. I can't experiment and play with the 100 different things that are going on in the chat groups, because I'm going to be sending them 100 different things, and I'm going to burn them out, and they're going to lose confidence, and I'm going to be overwhelmed trying to find all of their assignments that they're turning in. So I really tightened up my toolbox for virtual learning and made it very consistent so that every week they knew exactly what they were getting from me. They knew that we were going to Zoom every other day so that I could continue to teach, model, graph for them, hold tutorials, answer questions, have discussions. Canvas is a learning management system that our district provided. The thing with Canvas for us was it was a pilot year, so you could go as deep into it as you want, or you could just explore, and maybe not the kids didn't have as much to do with it. My kids were fairly comfortable with it. They had done assignments on it. My AP kids were quizzing every week, but that wasn't the same across the board. And so the kids weren't necessarily confident where to find the assignment, where to turn in the assignment. On my side, where did they turn in the assignment and how do I track it? So it was a great warehouse for me to put everything and stream everything week by week so that we could always go back. Screencastify is how I'm coming to you today. I could video my lessons. I would know my definitions that I use, the content, the application piece, and so I could be very consistent and concise. And then the golden ticket for me was the Wiser.me. It was a digital worksheet, and it is the platform that I use that kept us on the same page. It was a one-stop shop. It saved me. It saved my kids. Very user-friendly, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Is the superhero of virtual learning. It is an internet site So there's not a lot of add-ons. There's not a lot that you need to buy. It can be done on Chromebook, laptop, iPad, phone. So for the kids that were struggling to get to technology, or maybe had siblings and they were having a hard time getting a block of time, many of them could use their phones either at work or go find Wi-Fi and be able to do it. So it eliminated a lot of the technology issue. It eliminated the, I don't know where to find the assignment. I don't know what the assignment is asking me to do, and I don't know how to submit the assignment, because it is all in one place, and we were consistent with it every single week. I just had to email a link. They went to the link. The entire assignment from A to Z was there for them, and then they submitted and it came back to me. We worked off of the same form together. So it took a lot of my challenges and a lot of what was overwhelming about COVID and kind of just diminished that and let me feel like a teacher who could motivate, encourage growth as we went through the 12 plus weeks together. I could also grade on that platform and track. So I could monitor growth. I could reach out to parents if needed. I could reach out to administrators if needed, if there was a lack of progress. And then I could give encouragements when I saw progress or growth within certain kids. And it allowed for me to do an entire lesson from warm up to close, submit, grade, offer feedback. I was in one place, and I could differentiate it every week. It wasn't the same thing. It wasn't, oh, I'm going to get a video and I have to answer multiple choice. I could differentiate my formative assessments and what I was doing with the sheet every week. So it was a consistent platform, but different activities, so that there was an engagement piece and hopefully kept them from burning out. And then I could track the growth, and that helped me see where we were growing, areas that maybe needed reteach or remediation or tutorials, so that I could go out to Screencastify or Zoom and use that if needed. So I'm going to show you the student side and then the teacher side, so that you can just see what it looks like and how it works. Hopefully giving you some confidence and a new tool for the future in whatever our new normal may look like. So from the student side first, this is, let's say you have gotten an email from me and I have given you the link that says the assignment for this week can be found at this site. And it's going to take you to the internet site for your students. This is a free account. They just need a username and password. Username is usually their email, and then a password is something that they create. And then it logs them in every single link to each different digital worksheet every week. And they're ready to go from here. So I built the worksheet and I included a video that's an overview. We all know and love Mr. Clifford and Crash Course and We the Economy and the Fed videos. So I gave them the big picture, just trying to catch and hook their interest. And you can add charts. You can do your drawings on here and upload those. And then there's your formative assessment. So I would chunk and then assess my lessons. And then they would just come in, and from the student side, you just answer the questions by clicking or typing, and you move forward and you answer each one of the questions. I have previously answered these when I was practicing, so they're already done. They just move forward. And then here, I wanted to teach the fractional banking reserve. And so I recorded in Screencastify my lesson, and I embedded it within the worksheet. So they were to watch the worksheet or watch the lesson, fill in their notes at home, and then answer the questions. And here is an open-ended where they can type their answer. And then once they save and hand in, I have the box to read. What I love about this format is some of your kids aren't necessarily comfortable typing, so they can record an audio file or they can video. And that way they can voice it. My ELL kids love this. My SPED kids, sometimes they like to talk with their hands, and they wanted me to see their video. So I had it submitted in all formats, and it was super easy. It doesn't email it to you. It stays in this worksheet, so it stays in order. So I'm not having to match a video file with the box or anything like that. It all stayed here for you, and it stays in the same order for the kids as well. So extremely user-friendly. Fill in the blank for equations. That was huge for my AP kids as we were practicing for the AP exam. And I chunked the lesson. Monetary policy is very large. I don't usually do it all for on level in one day. And so I was able to break up my videos and do them in smaller portions so that they could save and come back. This worksheet is something that they can save, and then tomorrow they can come back and they can do more of it. They can save and they can come back and they can do more. And it's going to hold their place and it's going to keep their work. So a lot of my kids would usually do this over a 2, 3, or 4 day window, and then come back and finish each time. So very user-friendly on the student side. It helps them to learn, be assessed in the same location. And once they got the hang of it, I was no longer the technology help desk. I think the first week and a half, I felt like I was the technology help desk more than a teacher. And this eliminated all of that. I didn't have any technology issues after the first 2 weeks. And then all of my questions that I was fielding was tutorial questions. We have sorting, so you can sort. And they also have matching, and then any words of wisdom that you want to give them here. And this is the save button if they want to save and come back. Once they're done, they'll hit save and then hand in work. Once they've handed in the work, then they're done. It comes to you, it comes to me to grade. They're done, it's been submitted, and there's not anything that's required from them after that. They're not having to go click and read this and then do this quiz here. It's all in one place. So the feedback that I got from the students was very positive. Overwhelmingly positive. At graduation, we stayed 6 feet apart. They sang nothing but praises. Once we figured it out, they just said, I knew what I was getting. When I got your email, I knew what assignment was happening, how to complete it, and how to submit it to you. And there was no confusion. It was not overwhelming, and it took the stress away from me. Therefore, I did it. And I think that was the key to the participation that I had. It was so easy. It was so efficient. And it was all in one spot for them. I had several that said that they felt like they actually learned, that I didn't put it all on them. I didn't say, hey, go watch this movie and figure out monetary policy and then tell me what you think in a research paper. They still had the opportunity to hear my voice, hear my explanations, see my examples, and then go and apply it. So several of them saying high praises of being able to actually learn through the process. And then they got feedback from me. If they got it wrong, I was able to tell them how and why they got it wrong, and they were able to fix it. And kids that are authentically learning and truly curious want that feedback so that they don't make the same mistake again. And so it was a excellent tool for us to be able to communicate and really put them a step forward and a leg up in the learning of economics. And I had extremely high participation numbers for on-level and AP. My husband did as well for struggling math. And if you know struggling math students, the last thing they want to do is math work. But my lowest week was 81%. And what I was able to find is, so the kids that didn't participate that week, I could track. I could email their parents, walk their parents through what it is that I'm asking them to do. Parents see it's not hard. It's all there. This is too easy not to do. So the kids are like, well, now I have no excuse. You've taken that away from me because you've educated my parents. It's super easy. So I had really high participation each week. The link was emailed. They finished it. They submitted it. And it was pretty stress-free for them. So the student feedback was very, very positive. From the teacher side, I'll show you what it looks like on my side. You log in. It's a free account for you too. You can upgrade so that you can differentiate your digital worksheet for GT, SPED, ELL. There's differentiation pieces in there. You can pay for that. It's $3 a month. But there are plenty of options under the free account for you. You start out with a worksheet, a blank worksheet, and you just click and add. So this is the worksheet that I've built for the kids, and I really just added what I wanted. And you can type in or link in pretty much anything you want. And the beauty of this, so this multiple choice question here is I've already set up the rubric. So when the kids submit it, it's grading it. So the sheets would already come to me half graded because multiple choice, fill in the blank, matching, sorting had already been graded by the wiser.me. So that was excellent. It made it very stress-free and easy for me. Here's your option to differentiate the instruction in the worksheet, and you save it, and then it shows you what it looks like for the kid. You can set the point value, and you can set the order in which you want the questions to show up. I embedded my video here that I did on Screencastify, and then the open-ended box is here as well. And if I wanted to do voice instructions, I could do voice instructions or video instructions. So I also had the opportunity to use different formats. Okay, let me take you down here to the bottom and show you your choices. So here are the choices that you have in the worksheet. You can embed videos, you can link to articles or other sites, you can do open-ended questions, multiple choice, matching, sorting, fill in the blanks. My AP kids would draw their graphs in the worksheet itself, or they could draw on paper, take a picture, and upload it. So we practiced for the AP exam that way so that they were very familiar with the digital worksheet. And that is how you build a wiser.me. And then you assign it. And like I said, you can assign it by link. You can also put it directly into your Google Classroom. So you get the link and you email it to the kids, and they're off and running. You can shuffle the questions, and you can set a timer if you want to. So very, very friendly on your side as well. Once they've submitted it, you now have access to all of them, and you can go check the answers and do the grading. So it'll pull up everybody who's completed it. It also shows you if they've logged in and if they're working on it. So if a parent emailed and said, are they participating this week? I could say, yeah, they're logged in and working. They just haven't submitted it yet. So they need to submit it by Thursday at 11 p.m. But it would come and it would be half graded. And then I would just click on it, and it would bring up individual students, and it would show you how much time they spent on it and the date that they completed it. And if you needed to unlock the sheet for them to do something, then you could do that as well. And then from there, you just go through and you grade. So here, you got this multiple choice wrong. I can add my feedback. So I add my feedback and I tell him, hey, you got this wrong because you didn't watch the video. And then I will save and he gets that back. I can also voice record my feedback, and I can video it. And like a sticker in class, I can give them encouragements by the heart here. So the sheet is all one collaborative sheet between you and the student, and it will stay in that one place. Okay, and here you can add the points, and it just continually adds and keeps the grade for you. The sheet stays in the same order as what you made it and what the kid answered it. And you can give a large amount of feedback at the end if you want to for that specific student. And then once you save and apply feedback, the student has it in their dashboard, and they can now go look and say, I got this question wrong. Here's what Ms. Nicholson said. So it is a wonderful opportunity for you to consistently, efficiently talk to your kids in the same language and feel like they're continuing to grow. Wiser has a community catalog, so you can go in and you can search the topic that you're interested in, and it's going to show you all of the teachers that have made one. So I love this from a collaborative piece. Another econ teacher in the district, they could do fiscal policy. I make monetary policy. You copy the worksheet and then you can edit it for your own kids. So it is a huge resource of collaboration amongst the professional community that really was beneficial during a time of just kind of being on your own at home with a laptop. You'll have a house for all of your worksheets and you can organize them. And then you can go and you can edit or duplicate them if you need. And then there's the learners where you can go and you can track. You can set thresholds of progressing, at risk, not progressing, and that way you see who you specifically need to give some specific attention to. And then you've got per kid their progress over the period of time, and you can see how their performance was over that period of time so that you can measure increases, decreases for encouragement or remediations. So that's a quick overview of how it works from the student side and from the teacher side. And I will just say it truly changed my virtual learning experience. I had collaborated with a lot of friends and they were having a hard time with engagement. They were having a hard time with the grading. They were having a hard time with assignments being all over the place. And I really just felt like this was streamlined, efficient, beneficial, and most importantly, led us to an opportunity to actually learn at an applicable rigor that kept them engaged in the content. And so it was truly beneficial for me. I hope it's something that you add to your digital toolbox. I will continue to use it in the future. This will be my jumping off point from here on. I have an introduction Wiser, get to know you, where everybody's going to do it so they know Wiser, so that if we go to virtual learning, then it's here's the link, here we go, we're off and running without those few weeks of chaos and confusion. I'm going to bring it in my classroom for blended classroom. It has given me the confidence to blend my classroom and let that digital exploration happen. And I have a format for formative assessment now. And then probably one of the biggest advantages that I found during this is I now have a catalog of all of these lessons for the kids who are absent or maybe have been placed in ISS. Those kids that have been out for a long period of time, you have to spend extra time or you go personally reteach them or come up with a new lesson for them. You send this to them. Here's what you missed while we were gone. Please complete this. And it's less overwhelming for them. They don't get behind. You've got something to track, and it just keeps us all at the same pace without all these gaping holes when those absences do tend to happen. So I think that's probably the most beneficial thing I found out of it is I have now this resource that is a catalog for me to use in many different circumstances to be able to continue to communicate with the kids. And then my AP reviews are going to look different. Instead of having a super Saturday that's like 4 or 5 hours all on one day, I'm going to chunk it and I'm going to send out a Wiser link for 4 to 6 weeks over specific content and let this be the communication tool between the kid and I as far as individual feedback and reminders that they may need to know. So it was my golden ticket. I felt like I had won the lottery when I found this and actually started getting positive feedback from the kids and the parents. And I hope that it is the same for you. I hope it's something that helps you take stress off of you and makes virtual learning a more pleasant experience.
Today you will hear from Jen Russell. Russell is an instructional technology facilitator for Everett School District. In this position, she develops resources and curriculum with the use of technology to transform teaching and learning. She coaches teachers in order to help students meet high performance expectations and helps to implement the district's technology initiatives by providing support to K-12 staff. She is also a Washington State Fellow for Financial Education Public-Private Partnership, where she supports the state's financial literacy initiatives by providing PD and guidance and integrating financial skills and content knowledge into her mathematics, social studies, and other courses. From 2005 to 2017, Russell was a classroom career and technical education teacher, where she also created and trained district CTE teachers on the implementation of 21st century skills standards. Russell earned her principal certification from Seattle Pacific University and a master's in education in curriculum and technology from the University of Phoenix, and a bachelor's in business administration from the University of Colorado. Today, you will hear a presentation from Jen about technology tools and programs that can be embedded into your classroom, whether you are teaching virtually this fall or in the class. The resources she mentions in this video helped her teachers switch to a virtual classroom when the first student in the nation tested positive for COVID-19, and their schools took the plunge into virtual learning in early March.
Hi, my name is Jen Russell, and I have been in education for over 20 years. My current role is as an instructional technology facilitator in Everett, Washington, which is just north of Seattle. And hopefully you can find something in this video that will be useful for you to apply, and thanks for watching. All right, let's get started with our teaching and learning in the new normal. And again, I'm Jen Russell. The first thing you want to put in place is your Core 4. If this isn't something that has been decided across the district or in your building, this is really critical that teachers focus on the Core 4 first. The home base, the synchronous, the asynchronous video, and the cloud file storage. The system that you want to put into place is a home base for your learning management system. This is where you're going to put all of your content, pushing out information to your students, and it's also where your students are going to be submitting work to you. And it's critical that you make this something that is across the district similar, if possible. My district right now is not doing that, and we have seen a lot of problems with parents and students becoming very frustrated with some teachers using Google Classroom, some are using Canvas. We even have a handful of teachers that are using Schoology. We do have Microsoft Teams. This is a tool that you could use as a learning management system. Our district has turned off a lot of that, and we aren't able to use it with our students, but this is another platform you could use. So if your district or your building hasn't already identified one, as a team, or either building team or as a grade level team, you should make the decision to try and be consistent for your students. It's what's best in supporting them. The second part of Core 4 is a synchronous video. This is your video conferencing software. You can use Zoom, Google Meets, which is great with Google Classroom. We've also got Skype and Microsoft Teams. Microsoft Teams has multiple tools within that platform, so video conferencing software is part of that. Skype is also owned by Microsoft. It's just its own video conferencing software. And there are some great resources online about how to prepare for having an online video conference with students. And I highly recommend that you put some things in place prior to working with them online, whether that's going to be norms that you create as a class or rules that you're going to have just as a teacher. Think of it as this: your online video conference is going to be like your classroom, and you need to treat it the same way, with the expectations and the students understanding what those are. One thing to remember about synchronous video, and what I have seen not work with our students, is when our teachers don't have a set schedule. Students need to have a set schedule so they know when you're going to have these Zoom or Google Meets available to them. It's also important to understand this is something that maybe the students aren't going to be able to participate in. So you really should be using this video conference software as a way to touch base with them. It should be for social emotional learning. It might be for just building culture or relationships with your students within your classroom. But it shouldn't be a sit and get. You're not going to be using this video conferencing software to teach your students by lecturing. You might have some learning available through video conferencing software. There's definitely ways to do that, but it isn't going to be something that you'd want to expect all of your students to be able to meet at a certain time and be able to get the information from you in a live format. Instead, you should be using asynchronous video for that. Think flipped classroom. That is how a flipped classroom works. So if you have students that you do see in the classroom, you would want to record your lessons on video and have them available for them to watch on their own time, because first of all, they're able to stop, rewind, fast forward. They can also re-watch the video if they need to revisit the learning. And it also makes it so that it's available at any time. It's flexible for the student. And then you want to use the time that you have with them in the classroom. You want that to be the time that you're supporting them in their exploration of the learning or demonstrating their learning, trying to solve problems, being there to answer questions for them. So if we do have an environment where we have what I call blended learning, where some of it is online and some of it is in the classroom, then the flipped classroom is a great way to set that up. But again, WeVideo, Screencastify, PowerPoint, which is what I'm using right now. I'm also using WeVideo to create this video that you're watching. So I did part of it in PowerPoint, but then the finished product I did in WeVideo. I love WeVideo because it is a super easy editing software that we even have primary students, first, second graders using. So it is a software that students can use, and highly recommend that you get your students demonstrating their learning through using the video software. And again, students who have access to PowerPoint can create the same experience. They can talk over what you're seeing in the PowerPoint that they've created. The last part of the Core 4, that would be your cloud storage. Cloud storage, whether it's Office 365's OneDrive or Google's Google Drive, but having a place for your students to store their work, but also for you to store yours. Because when you're using these learning management systems, you'll want to have the stuff that you are embedding into those management systems to be cloud stored, because it's easier for these learning management systems to access. So those are my recommendations on the Core 4. And again, I think it's the place where you should start when moving into this online environment. Having those systems in place are critical. Now I'm going to talk to you about what are my must-have tools. So if I were to give you my top 7, they would be the 7 you see here. And I've given a little bit of a breakdown and just comparing them. All of them are online software, except for Genius Scan, which has an online version, but really you're using it for your phone. And Genius Scan is primarily for the teacher in that it's to create a PDF. You can scan something that you have a hard copy of, and it'll immediately take a picture and turn it into a PDF that you can then click on another button and hit that you want to send it in an email. You can do it in about 30 seconds, definitely less than 60 seconds. The other 6 tools that you see on here are really tools that you're going to use with students. And I am going to give you a little bit of a demo of each of them. I usually only like to recommend tools that are free, because when I was in the classroom, I didn't really want to spend money on a bunch of tools. But I will tell you, Gimkit is worth the paid version. There is a paid version of Padlet, but as long as you go on and you make enough Padlets right now, once you've made them, you won't lose them. And throughout the summer, I believe Padlet is allowing teachers to create double what they normally allow in the free version. So go on and just create one. You don't have, and you can edit them and change them as often as you want. But if you want to get multiple Padlets, then I would do that over the summer. Adobe Spark does have a paid version, but for education, it is free, and they say it will always be free. So look at Adobe Spark for education and look at how you can set up that account. And I know that Edpuzzle has a paid version, but most of my teachers feel like the free version is enough to start with. If you really get into it, then you will want to probably get a paid version of that. But again, I think you can get by with a free version for a while. Pear Deck is free. Google Earth Education is free. So I highly recommend you look at those tools. And I'll show you a little bit later in this video a little bit more about them. But I wanted to give you a chance to look at some of the important data that you might want to look at before you explore the product. The next thing I wanted to talk about is assignments and assessments. Really important to think about having your students looking at technology in a different lens. Our students are great at consuming technology, but they don't really know how to create with it. And that is the world they're going to be living in and in their adult lives. And many of them will be in careers where that's what's going to be expected, is that they know how to create using technology. So giving them every opportunity to demonstrate their learning through any kind of tool that allows them to create is helping them learn 21st century skills such as collaboration, communication, creativity, critical thinking. So using these online tools are great for teaching, but also really important that you think about them for students in their learning. I love it when I've seen teachers use the idea of using a podcast as an assignment and students coming up with those. But I've also seen teachers create podcasts that they share with parents, and they're short. They're very short podcasts, but they share with the parents like every other week what's happening in the classroom, what are the students learning, and some tips on how to support their students. You can have students create infographics about a topic. It makes them think about the content in short snippets, and it kind of forces them to kind of reduce and not be so broad in their knowledge or looking at it in the forest, actually specifically looking at the trees. So they do have to reduce information into very short snippets. Breakout EDU, if you have ever been to like one of those breakout rooms, think of the breakout rooms. Breakout EDU has these lessons that they've created that you can do in a physical environment like a breakout room. But they also have online versions, and those are used with Google Forms. So you can look and try using some that already exist, but it's really simple to create, and especially if you know how to create a Google form. Breakout EDU is going to be really, really fun for you to create with your students, and they love to play Breakout EDU because it's competition, trying to get the answer before the rest of the class or other teams. But the last thing I wanted to highlight here is whenever you can, give students the freedom to choose. This allows the students to go deeper in their learning, so not requiring them to maybe make an infographic, but maybe they have the option to either make an infographic or a podcast or an Adobe Spark webpage to represent their learning and for them to be able to tell you what they've learned about something. You'll be surprised at how much students will create and what they'll show you in their learning. And so I highly recommend that that's something you keep at the front of your thoughts when you're creating assignments and assessments. I also wanted to talk to you about helpful norms, and when you are having students learn with technology, making sure that you model what it's like to experience digital tolerance. And you might have students that have run into some problems with their technology, and you want them to learn how to overcome those problems. So plan for glitches. It's going to happen. And anytime that it happens, use that as a teachable moment. It's an opportunity for you to model problem solving and foster real world experiences. And then be the lead learner. This is where teachers demonstrate for their students that they too are both leaders and learners. So yes, you're leading the learning in the classroom, but you're also a learner. It's okay for you to have a student who is an expert and is your go-to person for something that maybe you didn't know how to do. And they say, oh, I know how to do that. Then name them the lead learner at that moment. The last one on here, work towards an Ask 3 before me. This is one of the places where my teachers have said has saved them as they transition to students having devices in the classroom. So we've been doing this work for about a little over 3 years. And I would say that most of my teachers have this part down because it's been such an important piece to their classroom norms. It's where you have the students foster a classroom climate and a culture of collaboration where they have to ask 3 other sources before they ask you, the teacher, for help. And this is with technology. So I don't know how to upload this, or I can't find my file, or I don't know how to edit this in this platform. And it's teaching them to go and ask either classmates, someone sitting at their table, or to Google it. There's other ways for them to get the answers. And we want them to learn how to be, able to go and find answers on their own and not always having to ask you. Otherwise, you're going to have students sitting there for long periods of time waiting for you to get around the room answering everybody's tech questions, which is not how you want to be spending all of your time. This also fosters a team building, student agency, authentic work, and leads to deeper thinking and learning for students. So it's a simple tool, but with a lot of great power if you foster it. The resources that you see here are resources that I have used or I've created. And so please feel free to go online and check them out. Next up is an exploration in the 7 must-have tools. So these are the examples of tools that I was talking about earlier, the 7 top tools. So just real briefly, this is Padlet. Right now, we're looking at it through the teacher's lens. This is my account. You give your Padlet a name, and the way you want to think of Padlet is it is a bulletin board of sorts. So it's just an online bulletin board where you post things and you can organize them in a fashion that makes sense for you. The layout that I selected, so there's several layouts to choose from. This particular one is called columns. So it allows you to give a name at the top of your screen here. You can see the different columns that I've given names to. If I wanted to add another one, I could click on Add Column. So this is one that I'm using with my staff. It's actually my tech cadre at one of the buildings I work with, and the team that wanted to, as soon as COVID went into play, they wanted to have a place where they could share some tools and ideas and things that were working for them that they could then share with their departments. So they're basically representatives of their department. So they post on here things that they want to share with the tech cadre. You can use this the same way I am, but with students, having students posting things. You could have a question that they have to answer. And the way that they are going to actually post something on here is they are going to add by clicking on the plus symbol. Sometimes the type of layout you have it's a little plus circle down here where they would hit plus there. But for this one, they can hit plus. They give it a title. So for example, this one's We Video. They can write something about it to just give a brief description of why they're giving you the answer they're giving you. And then if they click on the 3 buttons right here is a list of all the things that they could post here. So if I wanted to take a picture of myself, I could do that. If I want to just voice record my answer, I can draw using my finger or a stylus if I have one. If you want them to find a location on a map, or you want them to share, where did you go over the summer? Not that we're all doing a bunch of traveling, but you can have them do lots of different types of posts. So it doesn't have to be just text. So you can see these are mostly links that people have included on here. And to do a link, you do that right here, or you can upload a file. So again, really great tool for formative. This is such a versatile tool. The next one that I want to show you is the Adobe Spark. I'm only showing you the web page portion of Adobe Spark here, but there is the narrative video, which I love. Kids can just upload pictures, or they can use stock pictures that have already been copyrighted, and Adobe Spark automatically gives credit for pictures that have been used. So you don't actually have to cite them yourself. And the narrative video is great because students can record their own voice over the pictures. So think of it as like you went on a vacation, you wanted to share pictures with somebody, and you're not with them to show them to them, but you want to describe what they're seeing in the pictures. That's what a narrative video is. So I have had students at multiple levels do Adobe Spark narrative videos on lots of different topics. So a great thing for you to use from the student perspective, as well as creating your own. This is one that I created. I'm just going to scroll down. This particular, I do a tech tidbit for my staff every week. This particular one was on Google Earth. And remember, I said Google Earth was another tool that I absolutely love. So you're getting to see how Adobe Spark looks and what it does. So that's the tool I'm using to tell you about Google Earth. So Google Earth Education has lots of different tools within that platform. So again, it's not just Google Earth. If you've heard of Google Expedition or the augmented reality, that's part of the Google Earth Education. There is also the Google Earth time-lapse engine, My Maps, there's Tour Builder, and just Google Earth itself. So this is an example of Adobe Spark and sharing information. And it's a pretty layout. I can show you another one that I have done over the years. Well, here's another one about Genius Scan and Padlet when I shared this with staff. So again, this is the layout of the web page, and this is giving you links to content. You can embed YouTube videos in here, or even Adobe Spark narrative videos that you maybe have created. Here's my information on Genius Scan. But you can see Adobe Spark is a great tool for teachers, but also for students to be creators. Just an example of a group of students who are using Gimkit in a classroom. So just want to give you a glimpse at how powerful Gimkit can be in a classroom.
Whoa, I see people shopping.
What happens when you shop? Your money go down?
Your money's going to go down for a second, but you're going to buy things that make your money increase faster.
So the screen that you're seeing here that she has displayed, that's the leaderboard. So it's different than what the students see on their devices. If you see down here, this student is actually looking at his iPad, and he is answering questions and then shopping, like she said. The shopping is really the gamification piece of this. So students can go in there using the money that they've earned from answering correct questions and buy ways to strategize to win. So think of Gimkit as it's really like Kahoot and quizzes combined, but it has this gamified piece to it as well. So the leaderboard is what students see on the screen for the teacher, so they know who's in the lead. And so some of the strategies are you can like ice somebody or block them. And so for 1 minute, they're frozen. They can't answer questions. Again, one of the great things about Gimkit, the student who created it, he loves to add cool things that are only there for like a month. And so like he's got like zombies versus aliens or something like that. And it's a way to do Gimkit, and it's just like a twist on it. So it keeps it really current and different so students don't get bored with it. I wanted to also show you a very short portion of Edpuzzle. So this is a description.
You can also reuse ready-to-go video lessons made by other teachers or upload your very own teaching video. Then, use Edpuzzle's video editor to create your perfect lesson. Embed your own questions to check your students' understanding, cut sections to show your students only the most important parts of the video, and even record voiceover so you can explain concepts in your own words.
So again, this is a great tool if you don't want to have this really long video for them to watch. There's only a portion of it. This is where you can just quickly edit and cut it, and then you can embed questions. Sometimes I want to talk about something that's happening in a video, so there's also a place for you to actually talk over or embed your own commentary onto the video. And again, you can look at some great reports and data about how your students interacted with the video. This is a really quick video to kind of give you just a description of what Pear Deck is. So you can see it's only a 1-minute video, so I'll let you watch this. So again, the teacher has a screen that's up in front of everybody. It's different than what the students see when there's a question. When the teacher has information up there, then everybody's screen looks the same. And it's great because students log in using a code, and it's really easy for them to get on. It's a quick and easy way for you to interact with students in teaching them a presentation of information. You can use this with PowerPoint, and you can use it with Google Slide presentations. So you're not recreating the wheel. You're just using something you already have, and then you use Pear Deck as a tool within PowerPoint or within Google Slides. So it allows you to use existing presentations. So another great tool that I like using. This is a site called Google Earth Education Experts, and I'm just on the landing page of resources. So this is not all of the tools that are found in Google Earth Education, but most of them. And there's tutorials within here that are a great way for you to learn about the tools and just kind of see them in action. I'm just clicking on Google Earth just to give you an idea. So they give you some information about it. They have some great, really short videos on how Google Earth can be utilized. I love the Google Earth, the lucky, feeling lucky button. It's fun just to play around if you have a few minutes with students and you want to do something fun with them. Another great thing within Google Earth is called Voyages. So these are already created online field trips. So if you want to see some of these things in action, you should watch some of these YouTube videos that are really short. They don't actually talk during them. So it's just a way for you to see visually how to maneuver around in Google Earth or in whatever tool it is you're exploring. But great on-the-line field trips. And students can do these on their own. You just assign them, and it already has questions and information, not just about the location specifically, but also like whatever that topic is about. So if it's about history or it's about animals, then they give information, but they also show the students where that's at on Google Earth. So you can see this is one that's about Vikings, and it's going to take the students all around Google Earth and explore those, but it gives them content as well. So you're not building this, it's already built for you. But again, this website is great for just learning how to use the tool. But they also have on here, they have lessons that they've created. So again, highly recommend exploring this. If you are wanting to try out a Google Earth tool, and just maybe see if there's already some lessons that have been created that you might be able to use in your content area. I am going to show you Genius Scan really quick, just so you can see how quick and easy it is to use this PDF creator tool. So you just take a picture and it's that easy. I want to turn that into a PDF so I can submit it to get reimbursed. And I say what I want to name this PDF. So it's already created into a PDF that quickly. And then I say, how do I want to send this? I'm sending it through my email and it's done. That's all you got to do. And it literally can be done in less than 60 seconds. That concludes the presentation. I appreciate you taking the time to watch and hope that you have found some valuable tools to use. And feel free to follow me on Twitter. I would love to follow you back. Good luck and have a great start of the new year.
Thank you for joining our summer virtual PD session. Please use the link in the survey password at the end of the video to complete the survey and questions. In order to receive that CPE credit, you will need to complete the survey after watching this video, and please allow up to 2 weeks to receive that certificate via email. We look forward to hosting you at one of our 4 locations next year and continuing to support you virtually in the meantime. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to anyone on our economic education team. Thank you for joining us this summer.